Jonny Rea has a positive World Superbike test in Jerez. Jonny Rea completed just half a day's testing at the 2022 Jerez World Superbike test, and he finished 1.4 seconds quicker than his teammate Alex Lowe's and 0.6 of a second off his own lap record, which was set in 2019. After the test, his crew chief, Jerez, said, "The test was short because we only did half a day today and did not ride on day one. We did 4 hours in all. We focused mainly on the chassis side because we are reconfirming things that we did in December and comparing them with new items we built since the previous test." Jonny feels very positive and he's working well. The lap times were very strong. We did a long run and the result was positive. Jonny did a great job. We tested a new tyre to Pirelli and took home some first information about the new electronic strategy. We are pleased with the result, and now all the guys are looking forward to going to Portimao for the next test. It's always difficult to know how much of this is accurate because all of the crew chiefs and all the riders always say they have a very positive test, but I guess the key bits from this are that Kawasaki are focusing mainly on the chassis because it certainly looked last year like the chassis wasn't doing what Jonny wanted it to do or was capable of doing. It looked very on the limit a lot of the time, certainly more than the Yamaha did. And they've also got a new electronics package coming as well, which again could be interesting. Don't forget that in World Superbikes, the teams are still allowed to run their own bespoke electronics packages on the bike. It's not like MotoGP where there's a control ECU. World Superbike, they can still run whatever they like within the guidelines of the regulations. They've also tested a new Pirelli tyre, but I guess most of the teams probably would have had a little go out on it just to see what it feels like. In World Superbike, they also currently have a rev limit, and what that basically does is limits the power and the top speed of the bikes depending on how well each individual manufacturer is doing. It basically ensures closer racing, so it prevents one team having a really quick bike in the corners and having a really fast bike on the straight, because if one team is dominating, they lose revs, cuts their top speed, cuts their acceleration a little bit, and allows the other teams to be a bit more competitive. But with that said, that is why Kawasaki is focusing on the chassis to try and make improvements there, because they can't get more power out of the engine because they have the rev limit. But if they can make the Kawasaki chassis improve, it would be interesting to see what Jonny Rea can bring when the World Superbike season kicks off. One minor point to note on the times: he's 0.6 of a second off of his own all-time lap record, which he set in 2019. In the 2021 pre-season test, he was 1/10 away from his all-time World Superbike record. So there's always a lot of spin in these things, but I don't know if that's progress. It's always difficult to compare different days and everything, but that's what he did last year, and we'll see what happens this year.